Hello and welcome to our virtual yoga class. My name is Vanessa and I'm here to support you for the rest of the class. Our goal here is to integrate our physical, mental, emotional bodies, finding balance here. Our breath is our focusing tool as we explore our strength, flexibility, and balance. So let's transition to lay down on the floor, noticing that your practice begins right now as you're transitioning to lay on the floor. You're starting to release your to-do lists or those constant streams of thinking that visit us frequently. By no means are you supposed to not have any thoughts. That is not the goal. Even in meditation, that is not the goal. You're just creating some space between you and your thoughts. We're cultivating an inner sense of spaciousness and stillness, a little bit more observation, not just of our physical bodies, but our mental and emotional bodies. As you lay down, invite a generous inhale, exhale, side out. I recommend placing your hands on your belly or chest. It's going to help you perceive that rise and fall of the chest and belly to help you transition that attention a little bit more fully into your body. But you also have the option of just releasing your hands, supporting your hips. Palms up towards the ceiling. Generous inhale, exhale, side out. Start to notice where your body makes contact with your yoga mat. Notice the back of the head on the mat, shoulders, spine. Down to your heels. Notice where your body makes contact. Invite a generous breath. Inhale, exhale. I recommend exhaling, sighing out. It can just be an open mouth exhale. Once again, return to this present moment. Return to your breath. Arrive to your breath. And notice by doing so intentionally, we are inviting our experience. We're welcoming our bodies and our experience. And notice that throughout the class, we're cultivating that practice, arriving to this moment, welcoming our experience. I'm emphasizing the word cultivating because it is a process. It's not something we're just naturally good at. It's all right if your body might have some resistances. At the same time, our body can often look forward to experiences like this because it's so replenishing physically, mentally, emotionally. Just see where you're at today at this moment. And then we'll start to invite a full body stretch, looking up some muscle groups in our body. We're gonna interlace your fingers. So you can point your toes, rotate your ankles, you can lift your abdomen up towards the ceiling. If you do that, place some attention on your lower back. You wanna release some compression, some tightness, tension around the lower back. Your fingers are interlaced, you're extending the elbows, opening throughout the shoulders. Just a few moments here. See what's open, see what's tight. Inhale, exhale. Deep belly breath. You can release that full body stretch, bend your right knee, lengthen your leg up towards the ceiling, interlace your fingers right behind that thigh. So I'm lengthening my leg here. It's okay to have a little bend to that right knee. I'm gonna rotate my ankle clockwise and counterclockwise. We tend to not place a lot of attention here to the heels and toes, balls of our feet. So take a few moments here. You can activate that stretch around the calf muscle by pointing your toes downwards towards you and pressing your heel up towards the ceiling. You can focus on your hamstring by bringing your leg closer towards your belly, your chest. You can shift the stretch into the glutes and hips, lower back by dropping your leg towards the left and also towards the right. So you can keep a sway or just focus on one area. Notice your belly expanding on your inhale. About 3 more breaths wherever you're at. And then after those 3 breaths, bend that right knee, cup your knee, hand with your knee, round your spine, forehead towards your knee, chin towards chest, drop your head back. Round your spine, forehead towards your knee, chin towards chest, drop your head back. Next round. And then drop your head back. Release your right leg. Now lift that left leg up. Lengthen here. Interlace your fingers behind your thigh. You can have a little bend to your knee. Let's focus on our ankles and heels and toes. You can rotate here clockwise or counterclockwise. Press your heel up towards the ceiling. Point your toes downwards towards you to activate a deeper stretch around the calf muscle. And then you can focus on your hamstring or bringing your leg closer towards you. You can drop your leg towards the right and towards the left, either keeping a sway or holding. Take an easy breath. And then after a breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths, after those 3 breaths, you'll start to slowly bend your left knee. Grab that knee with your hands, round your spine, forehead towards your knee, chin towards chest, drop your head back. 2 more times. You want to make sure you invite the full rounding in the spine. And then after those 3 rounds, release. Bend both knees, both soles of the feet are on the floor. Rest that right ankle on top of your left thigh. Weave your right hand between your legs. Interlace your fingers behind your left thigh. So that left foot's gonna float off the floor. You're placing most of your attention around that right hip. Breathe into your right hip. If you want a deeper stretch, just bring your left thigh closer towards your belly or chest. Now, this movement can be kind of subtle. Inhale. Exhale. And then release. We'll prepare for the opposite side. Well, actually, first, let's take both hands to our knees, round your spine, forehead towards your knee, hold here, chin to chest, and now drop your head back. Now, opposite side, left ankle rests on top of your right thigh. Weave your left hand between your legs, interlace your fingers right behind that right thigh. You're breathing into your left hip, hold. Relax breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Both hands toward your knees, lift up, forehead towards your knees, and then release. Now lengthen your legs, plant your hands on the mat, lift up. We're lengthening our legs here, and then folding over, leading with our chest, our heart, hands can reach thighs, shins, or toes. And we're gonna remain here quite a few breaths here. Allow yourself to deepen. Notice where your boundary is, and fold a little bit more. Lengthen your inhale and exhale here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Release. Let's transition into our tabletop. In our tabletop, we're making sure our hands are right beneath our shoulders and the knees are hips width distance apart. Now, we're going to spread our fingers wide. If you're noticing yourself place some weight on your palms, notice tops of the feet on the floor. Now, lift up into a cow pose. Hold your cow pose. Press through your palms purposefully. Notice your fingertips on the mat. Shoulders roll down, chest is open. Be very purposeful in lifting your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Inhale, exhale. It's okay to breathe into an exhale in your cow pose. And now round your spine. You're going to hold your cat pose. This time being purposeful and tucking your tailbone in. And then tucking your chin towards your chest. And then release. Inhale up, cow pose. Exhale, round your spine, cat pose. And then release, lift your right leg, bend your knees, stack your hips, hold. Now, the more you bend your knee, the more you'll activate a stretch around the quad. You're also opening here on the glute and hip. Some core strength here, some core strength here. We're going to press through our palms, chin and knee towards your chest. You're rounding your spine like you do in your cat pose. And then release. Opposite side, lift your left leg, bend your left knee, stack your hips. Press through your palms, knee and chin towards chest, and hover. Release your knee onto the floor, step back into a child's pose. So here we're working on our mental body. Notice 3 consecutive breath cycles. Lengthen your inhale and exhale if you have trouble concentrating. Three consecutive breath cycles. Once you've noticed 3, inch your right hand towards the left corner of your mat, so your elbows going to float off the mat. And then release. Now left hand towards the right corner of your mat. And release, lift up, downward facing dog. Hold your down dog. You're in an inversion here. Upper body strength here, supporting you. You're also breathing into your hamstrings. They're opening up as well. I'm lifting my hips up towards the ceiling, lifting my heels for some more lift. Take a full body breath. Imagine you're breathing in through the pores of your skin and exhaling through the pores of your skin. And now take your gaze between your hands. Walk or jump up to that forward fold. Hand positions. Inhale halfway up. Exhale. Release, softening your neck and head. Ground through your feet. Sweep your arms up overhead. Extending through the spine as your arms lift. Hands and palms in front of your chest. We arrive to this present moment, arrive to our bodies. Inhale. Exhale, side out. We're cultivating that inner spaciousness, inner silence in our being. Learning to see what that experience is like. Inhale. Exhale. Side out. As a reminder, by no means are you trying to delete your thoughts. You're just creating some space between you and your thoughts. And this is part of us working on our mental body to support our emotional and physical well-being. 3 sun salutations. We're gonna lift our arms up. Exhale, fold down, forward fold, dropping your neck and head. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release the back, plank pose. Release down towards the floor. Tops of the feet on the floor. Engage your glutes as you lift up into your upward facing dog. Curl your toes, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Take your gaze between your hands to walk or jump up to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale. Release and sweep our arms up overhead, grounding through our heels, lengthening our spine, checking in with our soft tailbone. Extend through that spine as your arms lift, hands meet in front of your heart center. Once again, we cultivate that inner sense of spaciousness and stillness. Inhale. Exhale. Third sun salutation, arms lift. Exhale, pull down, forward fold. Soften neck and head. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale. Release, step back into your plank pose. Release down towards the floor. Inhale up. Upward facing dog. Exhale. Down dog. Once in your down dog, lift your left leg, bend your left knee, stack your hips to the left. Release your foot, opposite side. Lift your right leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Release your foot down towards the floor, drop your knees on the mat, and then step back into a child's pose. So purposeful practice for mental concentration. This time, notice 5 consecutive breath cycles. Five breath cycles. Inhale, exhale. And then release your child's pose. Ground both palms onto the mat. You're going to press that left palm onto the floor. Lift your right palm up towards the ceiling. Hold. Left hand, left palm. You're extending through your arm, reaching that shoulder back. Purposely reach your shoulder back. And then release. Opposite side. Lift your left arm up. Purposely reaching your left shoulder back. Release, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, take your gaze between your hands. Walk or jump up to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale. Release, sweep our arms up overhead. And then hands meet in front of our heart center. Inhale. Exhale. Release your hand. Inhale. Arms lift up overhead. Interlace your fingers. We're going to lift your heels halfway or all the way up. You can extend your elbows here. Keep your gaze steady. Notice that paradox of stillness and movement in this balance. Inhale. Exhale. Release your heels, release your hands. We're gonna bend our knees, chair pose, sit back. Your chest is open, arms radiate out forward. A pose of strength and stability, very grounded. Notice that weight on your heels. Bend your knees further, fold down, forward fold. Soften your neck, your head. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, plank pose, take your vinyasa. Once in your downward facing dog, lift your left leg, bend your left knee, stack your hips. Release your foot back down towards the floor, opposite side. Lift your right leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Release your foot back down towards the floor. Plank pose, release down towards the floor. From here, shoot your hands back. You can either interlace your fingers together or just shoot your fingertips out. Do be purposeful in bringing your shoulder blades closer together. Feet float off the floor, inhale up. Exhale, release. 4 more times, inhale up. Exhale, release. When you reach that 5th round, remain there, an extra inhale, extra exhale. And then drop one of your cheeks onto the mat. Practice of concentration. We'll pay attention to 5 breath cycles. Please soften your neck, shoulders, down the length of your spine. Inhale, exhale. Notice a 2nd breath cycle. Inhale, exhale. Move at your own pace with your breath into a 3rd breath. 4th and 5th. We're in another breath or 2 or 3 here. We're noticing the benefits of softening, of letting go, yet remaining attentive and aware. And then start to release. We're gonna go back, belly on the floor, 2nd round. This time, both arms will go lift forward and legs will lift as well. So you're still on your belly. Be mindful of not crunching around the shoulders. Inhale up. Exhale, release. 2nd round, inhale up. Exhale, release. You're using the inhale to help you find that lift. Exhale, release. Move into a 4th round. Inhale up. Exhale, release. On your 5th round, remain there, an extra breath cycle, 2 or 3. Lots of strength here. Be careful with the lower back. And then release your cheek onto the floor. Ideally, your opposite cheek on the floor. Soften neck all the way down to your spine. And then be attentive to a couple of consecutive breath cycles. Take an intentional inhale and exhale. Two more breaths. Inhale, exhale. And then start to release. We're going to shift up into an upward facing dog. Grounding our palms onto the mat. Lift up. Exhale, curl your toes. Downward facing dog. Hold your down dog. Invite that breath where you're breathing in through your pores and exhaling through your pores. Now take your gaze right between your hands. Walk or jump up to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Sweep your arms up overhead. We're going to go ahead and seal the standing portion of the class with 3 sun salutations. So before we begin, let's take a moment to ground with our bodies. Notice that inner spaciousness that you've created and cultivated throughout the class. We've just emerged by softening and relaxing the body. And here we'll start to shift into creating our own personal rhythm. I'll go ahead and cue, but feel free to move at your own pace. Inhale and exhale. Release your hands. As I lift up, I extend through the spine. Exhale as I fold, I soften my neck and head as I release. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. I step back into my plank pose. Release down towards the floor. Inhale, up, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale. Exhale, take your gaze between your hands. Walk or jump up to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Sweep your arms up overhead. And meet in front of our heart center. We notice left hand press against right hand press against left hand. Release your hands, second sun salutation. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, plank pose. Release down towards the floor. Inhale up, upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. Hold that down dog. Take a breath there. And then moving at your own pace. Shift forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release with your arms up overhead. You're lengthening and lifting to standing, noticing left hand press against right hand press against left hand. Ground here. And then move into your third and final sun salutation. Lift your arms up overhead. Inhale up. Exhale, full down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale, step back. Exhale, release down towards the floor. Inhale up into your upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. Once in that down dog, lift your left leg, bend your left knee, stack your hips. Release your foot back down towards the floor. Generous breath here, full body strength here. Lift your right leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. And then release your foot back down towards the floor. Now step back into a child's pose. You're dropping your knees onto the mat, either knees close together or toward the edges of the mat. Be aware of 5 consecutive breath cycles. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Third breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Another breath or two. Move at your own pace. And then start to release your child's pose by grounding your hands onto the mat. We're going to go ahead and transition into our seat. We'll shift into a cross-legged position. We'll shift into, We'll shift into a cross-legged position. So you're grounded with sit bones on the floor. Those are the bones near your glutes. You're lengthening the spine. Softening your shoulders down. Chin is neutral. And then I recommend if your eyes are open, you keep your gaze steady on one point. You can remain, and then you can also invite a steady gaze with your eyes closed by lifting your gaze, imagining that you're looking at that center right between your eyebrows, that middle point right between your eyebrows. So a steady gaze, a steady mind. 3 breaths, we inhale. I recommend exhaling, sighing out. Another breath, inhale. Exhale. And third breath, inhale. Exhale. Notice that inner silence and spaciousness you've cultivated throughout the class. And once again, this is not about deleting your thoughts, you're just creating a little bit more space. If your eyes are closed, open your eyes. Keep your hands softly on your knees. Lift your shoulders up towards your ears, and then draw them down. Once again, now I'm very purposely drawing my shoulder blades closer together as I release downwards. So once you've done about 3 rounds, now roll your shoulders up and forward. Now we tend to not do that motion, so it feels a little awkward. Just make sure your elbows are soft, close to your torso. Move slowly so you can understand what that sensation and this feeling is. Shoulders forward, and then release. Now take your left hand onto your right knee. Now twist towards the right. Shift your chin towards your shoulder. And release. Opposite side, hand on your knee, twist towards the right. Or towards the left. Release and come back to center. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead, palms up towards the ceiling. And then release your hands right behind your head, elbows press towards the back, twist towards the left and towards the right. Inhale. And then release. Hands on, hands on your knees. Drop your chin towards your chest. Notice a stretch in the back of the neck and all circles here. Lifting your chin up towards the ceiling. And I mentioned circles here. You want to do a full circle, but you can also just sway your chin from one shoulder back to the other shoulder, just making a half a circle. Inhale and exhale. Few more breaths here. Let's not underestimate the sort of tension and soreness that reside around our neck and shoulders. As we move throughout the day, we tend to crunch up there, store some tension. Take an opportunity here to balance out, to release. And then we'll start to bring our head back to a neutral position. Gaze steady, an intentional breath. Inhale. And exhale. Once again, returning to this moment, noticing that's a continuous practice. Now, let's lengthen our legs out in front. For workout, as you release down towards the floor, we're going to take our palms out. Please tuck your chin towards your chest. Prevent any injury around the neck, upper back. Your feet can float off the floor and hold. Glutes and quads active, core strength as well. And then drop your head back. Full body stretch, lift your arms up overhead. Notice any difference here from the beginning of class. What does this experience feel like for you? Now that you've opened up different aspects of your body. And release. Bend both knees. We're gonna lift our hips just a few inches off the floor. Palms are on the mat. So just a few inches here. So you're noticing that activation around the glutes. You're noticing your weight distributed on your heels. And then drop your hips, your tailbone back down towards the floor. Take a breath. This time we're gonna lift all the way up and hold. Distribute weight on your heels. The challenge here is to lift as high as you can. Imagine a cord lifting you up around the abdomen. Release your hips. Take a breath, inhale. Exhale. Last round, lift. Ground for your heels and hold. You have access to full diaphragm breathing here, meaning that your belly can fully expand. Inhale. Release hips onto the floor, tailbone on the floor, feet float off the floor. Take your hands to your knees and then rock to the left and to the right. And then once you've taken a few moments there, we'll start to release our legs and prepare for our final resting pose of the class, our Shavasana. Legs are long here, palms face up towards the ceiling. This is a pose that teaches us the wisdom of doing nothing. Here we're allowed to be with our bodies, not to have any expectations. We notice the wisdom of being still, of doing nothing. There are many yoga classes that are offered, yet this last resting pose is pretty universal and is also the pose that we hold the longest. In a holistic yoga practice, we're working on our physical, mental, emotional bodies. As we rest here, we let go, we receive, and integrate our practice. Sometimes you can specifically trace what it is that you're integrating. It could be something physical, mental, emotional. And then sometimes it's more ambiguous. So we invite that ambiguity as well. And we notice that paradox, noticing the specifics in our bodies, and notice what's more spacious, more ambiguous, less defined. And we welcome that. So with that in mind, your only goal here is to soften and relax your body a little further. Up to you if you prefer to take some intentional breaths for Shavasana, or just allow your breath to rise and fall, a natural breath, no control of the breath, your choice. Both have benefits. Soften your forehead and jaw and neck. Just a little further than you're accustomed to. Broaden your awareness from your shoulders down to your elbows and wrists. Notice that throughout the day, our hands are often clenching and grabbing, supporting you and fulfilling your tasks. Notice your palms and your fingertips relax just a little further. Notice that metaphor here in your hands, letting go, letting come. No clenching, no holding on. Soften down the spine, upper back, mid back, lower back. Soften down the legs, hips, behind the knees, down to your ankles and toes. Observe thoughts and sensations without judgment, just notice. And we'll start to shift our attention back to our breath, inviting a generous and leisurely inhale and exhale. You can invite a full body stretch, lifting your arms up overhead. You can turn your body to one side, allowing it to remain heavy and relaxed. Once again, return to a generous and leisurely breath. And once you've taken another breath or two, start to make your way up to your seat. And once you settle into your seat, lengthen your spine, relax your shoulders. Notice that inner stillness and spaciousness cultivated throughout the class. Notice if it's easy to return to this or difficult, with no judgment. Notice. By cultivating a practice, I mean that we are present with the moments things feel easy and are present with moments that feel challenging. We'll take a moment to appreciate this paradox that lives in cultivating a practice of stillness, awareness, this present moment. And then we'll seal the class, taking our hands in front of our heart center. Intentional inhale here. And intentional exhale. And in the tradition of yoga, the highest in me sees the highest in you. May we walk with each other in gratitude.